Welcome to Theme Park Universe, and thank you for joining us as we head back to Hollywood. That's right, we are back in Universal Studios Hollywood, where today we are hopping onto the most iconic attraction in any Universal theme park, and, well, it's only available in this specific theme park. That's right, the studio tour actually was the catalyst to the creation of Universal Parks. The studio tour takes you literally behind the scenes of a real working studio. You will see locations where movies, TV shows, and commercials are currently being filmed, along with the hallowed ground where some of cinema's greatest stories became a reality. This is a must experience for every trip to Universal Studios Hollywood, and each ride, it has its own uniqueness. But as we get ready to hop on the tram, do me a favor. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. And without further ado, let's jump on the studio tour and live the movies.
Universal Studios tour. My name's Andy, and I get to be your guide today. Honored to be your guide as we go behind the scenes of one of the biggest and busiest movie studios in the world. And when I say we, I mean you and me and our driver, Jose. One of the best in the business, folks. We're not going to get far without him. Out to the veterans, people in the military and families thereof, thank you. Shout out goes to the first responders out there. Small children should be seated toward the center of the row and away from the outside gates. What constitutes small? If your feet touch the ground, you're a giant. Don't worry about it. Otherwise, slide on over the middle. Yeah. We're going to be closing those gates on the left-hand side if we haven't already, so mind all those things you'd like to keep attached. We've got 400 acres of backlot out there, folks. It's a beautiful day here in Universal City, where we are a working movie and television studio. And it looks like we're going to get out of Dodge. So wave goodbye to those folks in the line. It's time for us to hit the road. We'll see you all out there. Now, before we get too far gone, I want to introduce you to my co-host for the afternoon. He's the host of The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. You're never going to guess who it is.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You got the very best guide.
Andy.
And the greatest driver.
Jose.
They're the best. I love that. Even though
Andy
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
All right, dude. Safety rules. Safety rules. Pull the emergency cord in case of an emergency. Runs down the center of the tram. You have a medical emergency, drop something of value, sound or video issues. Reach up and pull that red cord. I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, so if at any time you drop your cell phone and you just can't wait to use the restroom, reach up and pull that cord. Remain seated.
Good.
This one's kind of a no-brainer. No smoking of any kind. Sorry, Frank. And be prepared for loud noises, fire effects, sudden tram movements, and the possibility of getting wet, so do keep your cameras protected. And for those of you who have selfie sticks for your safety and the safety of those around you, reduce them to their shortest length. All right, we've just turned down our Universal movie timeline now. These original movie posters on the right side of the tram, just a few examples of the more than 8,000 films we've made here in the last century. Universal Studios is a part of NBC Universal, one of the world's leading entertainment companies, which includes Universal Pictures, Focus Features, Peacock, and NBC Television. And this year, NBC is celebrating its 100th anniversary. That's right, from trailblazing radio and television to launching The Today Show, The Voice, SNL, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, and all the beloved shows in between. NBC has been the home to entertainment, news, and sports for an entire century, and we're going to be celebrating the network all year long. But right now, the group of us are going to celebrate the movie studio park, because that's where we're headed. We're about to cross into our front lot, which houses our 36 sound stages. In these buildings, we can create any environment a story demands. Great examples coming up at the bottom of this hill on the left, Soundstage 12. It's the largest on our lot, where we've created some of the biggest sets, some of the biggest moments in movie history, like Frankenstein's laboratory, Dracula's castle, the Scarface Mansion, the Clock Tower from Back to the Future, the Visitor Center from Jurassic Park, the 405 freeway in Whoville, and the best party Jon Favreau's ever been to, and well, he hangs out with Tony Stark. So that's what the inside of an empty soundstage looks like, folks, and about 75% of all the filming we do here at Universal is done on these sound stages we're driving past. Currently working in the stages coming up on your left, the 5th and final season of Hacks, starring Emmy Award winners Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder. It's a Universal television production streaming on HBO Max. Over here on your right, folks, that's Super Nintendo World, where Mario and Luigi are busy preparing for their latest adventure, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I have a sneak peek.
Hi, Studio Tour. I'm Charlie Day.
I'm Chris Pratt. Here's a look at our new film, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, only in theaters April 1st. Mamma mia. Finish this, Lou.
Rated PG. In theaters now.
Now, stage 14 coming up on your left is a big one. It's where we built Mission Control for Ron Howard's Apollo 13. It's also where the Superstore was in the hit series Superstore. And you remember that edge-of-your-seat scene from Jurassic Park when Sam and Dr. Grant are near the tree and the SUV is coming barreling down on top of them. That was shot on 14 as well. And you can see there's a light there, just to the right of the door. That's a wigwag light, and every soundstage has one. When that light is red or when it's flashing, it's how I know the cameras are rolling. More importantly, it's how we know they're recording sound, which puts us in one of those, in a quiet zone, and then I go off the microphone for a bit. Because these buildings aren't 100% soundproof. They're about 95, which is pretty darn good, but you know, we're pretty darn close, and nobody wants my voice in the background of your favorite television show. So if any of you see one of those lights flashing, you gotta give me a wave because I'm facing the opposite direction, and if I'm talking when the light is flashing, I get the hook. I want the hook. Recently working the stage is coming up on your right, from the creators of The Office, season 2 of The Paper. But don't these buildings look a little bit more like warehouses than stages? The term stage comes from the large outdoor platforms that were built during the silent film era to accommodate sets that couldn't be built on bare ground. And when the first indoor film stages were being constructed, they had glass ceilings to let the sunlight in because at the time, electrical lighting just wasn't powerful enough to light a movie. Now here we are cruising around an electric tram. Now pretty soon our whole fleet will be electric trams as part of our commitment to sustainability and a zero emissions studio tour fleet. But if you were goofy enough to walk through one of those doors when the red light is flashing, you'd find yourself in another little room with another red door and another red light. That's kind of the sound department's last line of defense. You walk through that second door, and then they come after you. And you'll never hear them coming. Nobody can sneak up on you like the sound department, folks. Hey, take a look to your left. Is that? Well, it is. It's Ted, our first celebrity sighting. Looks like he's celebrating. If I didn't know better, I would think I was at a party at the Delta House. Somebody put a toga on that bear. Ted's happy because he's got his own television show on Peacock. How do you swing that? Well, it starts with a development deal. These bungalows on your left house production offices for writers, directors, and producers who currently have development deals with the studio. Companies like Mark Platt Productions, folks behind the Academy Award-winning film Wicked, and Wicked for Good, which is streaming on Peacock right now. But let's say you have an idea for a movie. Somebody out there must have a script. Our play is to pitch it to one of these companies and get a green light. Next comes pre-production. That's where the cast and the director are locked in, all the schedules are made. Then production itself, the cameras start rolling. Generally, the most expensive part of making your movie is going to be the production phase. And yet it'll be the shortest part in terms of time. After that's post-production. That's when all the editing is done, the soundtrack is laid in, all the visual effects and titles, and then all you have to do is throw a wrap party and go to a red carpet premiere. And I'll come to your premiere as long as there's popcorn. But check out Bungalow 5195, pardon me. That used to be the office of the legendary director Alfred Hitchcock. That's his profile, painted next to the front door. Also on your left, stages 25 and 26 are two of our newest. Working in there, St. Denis Medical. Just got renewed for a third season. It's a comedy about an underfunded, understaffed hospital where the dedicated doctors and nurses juggle the health of their patients with their own sanity.
Welcome to St. Denis Medical Center. St. Denis Regional Medical! I have access to some really good stuff, and I will hook you up.
Yeah.
No, man. That was a test. Boom!
We're like the Avengers, you know?
We're not supposed to have favorite patients, but we do.
I almost don't want him to get better.
Pale, kind of blotchy.
It's the other one.
Oh my God, that's much worse. Wow.
All right, we've crossed into the back lot now. We shoot the big stuff out here, exterior scenes on a grand scale. On your left is New York Street and our Metropolitan sets. Recently working out there, St. Denis Medical, the prime original series Spider Noir starring Nicolas Cage. But we can't talk about New York without somebody who really knows the town. So once again, here's Jimmy Fallon.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City.
Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
All right, let's check out some of the things Jimmy was talking about. Movies are based on illusions. I mean, at least in part. These Metropolitan sets are a great example. They may appear to be built out of brick and stone, but they're actually made out of foam rubber and fiberglass over metal and wood frames. We call them facades. Any Key and Peele fans out there? #1 show on Comedy Central. Yeah, won 2 Emmys. Over here on your right, on Wall Street, is where they shot their valet sketches. What's Up with the Batmans and Nonstop, though, with Liam Neeson's. Actually, they shot all over our back lawn. And this church facade over here on your right, folks, that's the retirement facility that Ted Danson goes undercover to expose in the Netflix series Man on the Inside. We call this London Square, doubled as India for the Mindy Project. Notice a lot of the windows and details on the upper floors are slightly smaller than the windows and details on the previous floors. Gives the illusion these structures are taller than they actually are. There have been a lot of superheroes on our Metropolitan sets, many of them of the radioactive spider variety. Sony's Spider-Man starring Tobey Maguire, Sony's The Amazing Spider-Man starring Andrew Garfield. And yes, the prime original series, Spider Noir. If you like film noir and you like superheroes, on May 27th you're going to cash in. Also Captain America, the first Avenger. Remember Steve Rogers goes from scrawny guy with a big heart to brawny guy with a big heart after they inject him with the super soldier serum. There's a great chase on New York Street where he's barefoot chasing a taxi cab, running on the top of cars and tackling the cab. All right, well, we're going to wave goodbye to the faux concrete jungle of our Metro sets for the moment. It's time to say hello to the prehistoric jungle of Skull Island. And here's King Kong director Peter Jackson to lead the way.
There's a room right here, right?
Come on, Peter, where are you?
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. And to me, Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times.
All right, folks, adventure awaits. Please remain seated, secure your belongings, and hold on tight. Next stop is Skull Island.
An island, hidden in fog. Nobody's lived here for hundreds of years. A wall 100 foot high. Why did they build the wall?
Computer-generated imagery and digital effects have become very important tools in the filmmaking process, helping to build the worlds in some of your favorite Universal pictures, from science fiction to fantasy to action-adventure. All right, folks, we're headed back to the Metro Zone again, and for this angle, you can see that they're really just the fronts and sides of buildings. It's a cheat because we only bother building what the camera can see. And we reuse them, changing them enough so you don't recognize them from one production to the next. You know, folks, making movies is one of the few places in life where cheating is acceptable, so we do it a lot. We cheat camera angles, use miniatures, shoot day for night, whatever we can get away with. Shooting day for night just means shooting during the day for a nighttime scene. It's a cost-cutting measure because if you're outside, it's a lot easier to make a movie in the daytime than it is at night. It takes less time, and therefore it's less expensive. Different ways to do it. You can use filters on the camera lenses to simulate night. That's what Spielberg did with Jaws. Or you can do what Walter Hill did on Streets of Fire. Build an entire mile of a special black fabric to cover our Metropolitan set so he can shoot day for night. And this is great because you can do a lock up and walk away, which basically means you set up once, shoot your day, go home, get some rest, come back the next day, it's already set up for you. That'll save you some time. Time is a very valuable commodity when you're in production, folks. Time is gold. And Streets of Fire is a gem from the 80s. It was billed as a rock and roll fable. Walter Hill was kind of the name in action movies before Steven Spielberg sort of took over. But Streets of Fire is great. It stars Amy Madigan, who just won an Academy Award for her work on the film Weapons. It's a great story because the role was actually written for a man, but Amy Madigan convinced Walter Hill that it should be a woman and gave her the part, and she nailed it. It's also Willem Dafoe's first big role, put him on the map. Streets of Fire. All right, pop quiz, hot shots, bonus points for anybody who can tell me how many bricks are in this wall on the left. You come within 1,000, and I'll give you the points. But remember, we cheat, because there aren't any bricks in that wall. There is a pretty spectacular spray paint mural over here on the right, commemorating our classic monsters from artist Tristan Eaton. That's one guy, a bunch of spray paint cans, and a lift to get him up there. Also on your right, the gates to the Lion Estates. That's where Marty McFly lived in the Back to the Future trilogy. And just beyond those gates, that's not his house. That's our underwater tank. Maybe you have an underwater scene in your movie. You can shoot it through those hatches on the side, and you can stay dry, and more importantly, so can the camera. What else we got? Over here on your left in stages 30 and 31, we just finished season 29 of The Voice, the Battle of Champions, with John Legend, Adam Levine, and Kelly Clarkson. Team Adam won this round. And right next door in 32 and 33, the comedy Happiest Place, starring the lovely and talented Miss Reba McEntire.
Hey there, I'm Reba McEntire, and welcome to Happy's Place. We shoot our heartfelt comedies right here on the Universal Live. Now, unlike most TV shows, we are a multi-camera sitcom, meaning several cameras capture every scene from a different angle, all at the same time. Each episode takes about a week to make, from the first read-through of the script to rehearsals to taping in front of a live studio audience. And let me tell you, every step is a blast. Enjoy the ride, and we'll see you at Happy's Place. I'm starting to sweat. Okay, I'm just thinking about it. The men are the ones who's supposed to ask the women out. That hasn't been true for 30 years. I haven't dated in 30 years.
Happy's Place, Friday on NBC and Peacock.
Hi, there's Tranquil Lagoon over here on the left is the original Black Lagoon from the cult classic Creature from the Black Lagoon. And just up ahead of us at stage 50, they're working on an action comedy called Ticket Machine Heist, but the cast and crew have the day off, so we get to go inside and have a look around. Now, this is a hot set, which means they've already shot scenes, so please remain seated, hold on, and don't attempt to touch anything. If you were to move a chair when the shots were edited together, it would look like the chair magically appeared across the room, and that would, well, mess with the continuity and mess with our minds as well. Continuity is very important in movie making because we shoot out of sequence. This particular set is supposed to be a subway station, so let's say you have half a dozen scenes in a subway station in your movie. Well, you shoot them all at once, regardless of where they take place in the story. You shoot them out of sequence. So it's really important everything matches. This particular station is supposed to be in San Francisco. It could be anywhere, right? All you have to do is change the signs. Depending on how tight your shots are, how much detail you need in the background, maybe you change the map of the subway. Definitely get rid of the pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge and Coit Tower and all the things that are San Francisco-centric. And presto, you're in any pages. Hi, rumble. Better hold on, folks. That feels like more than a tremor. You're just about to look like the big one, inspired by the disaster movies of the 1970s. And this is maybe 65% of our time together, folks. Just want to remind everybody to remain seated at all times. You guys have been fantastic, but just in case you drop something or you just can't wait to use the restroom, reach up and pull that red cord. Get my attention. I'll come back. We'll sort it out. And definitely remain seated as we make our way into Amity Island. A lovely little tourist town that was once terrorized by a man-eating great white shark. Jaws. As you can see, the shark has been caught. There's a diver on the scene right now doing a final sweep of the harbor. Wow, it's a big one too. Look at that. Shark that size, swallow you whole. Suffering sequels. There's another shark out there. Oh no, and the diver's still in the water. Swim to that boat, man. Swim to the boat. Put your phone away and swim to the boat. Well, I hope it was worth it because that just looks uncomfortable.
Clear the area! Repeat, clear the area!
We still have a chance to catch that shark. There's some bait tied to the end of that yellow barrel there. If he takes it, we'll snag him. He's taking the bait. He's taking the whole dock. Remember, campers, heat, fuel, oxygen, a lethal combination. That's about the most fun Jose and I have all day watching you watch the shark. It's the screams that keep us going. You've just come face to face with Bruce the Shark. Check him out. He's the only shark around that swims in reverse, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, Bruce the Shark was just as much of a terror off screen as he was on. In fact, the first day of filming Jaws, Bruce sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, prompting the cast and crew to nickname the production Flaws. And yet Jaws became the biggest hit of all time when it was released in 1975 and garnered an Academy Award for Best Film Editing. It might interest you to know that Jaws director Steven Spielberg was an integral part in the design of the whole Jaws attraction.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. It was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
This is our wilderness area, and like Spielberg said, movies are shot on location and all over the world, and maybe your story calls for some big vast wilderness, but maybe you can cheat it with just a little bit of wilderness like this. And this wilderness has electricity and running water, is in close proximity to amenities. That'll make your filming day go a whole lot smoother. It'll save you time, and once again, time is gold. But let's check out some amazing picture cars. A picture car is any vehicle on a set that is seen by the camera. Some of these cars have become just as famous as the stars who've driven them. There's the Magnum PI Ferrari over here on the right. They say Tom Selleck kept an extra mustache in the glove compartment. There's Biff's car from Back to the Future beside it, the one that got covered in manure. Must know a really good car wash. Some time-traveling options. Over here on your left, one word, folks. Yabba dabba doo. If that is a word, should be a word. Says so much. Some fast and furious cars, and there's Bumblebee. You're gonna transform into an Autobot. You'd be damned if you don't do it with some style. And coming up on your right, folks, probably the two most famous sets still standing in Hollywood. That's the Bates Motel and the Psycho House from Hitchcock's Psycho. Home Universal's public enemy number one, Norman Bates. Creeping characters, I think that's him. You guys, that was Norman Bates. Whoa. Well, he's probably just helping that woman check out. Oh, she's checked out all right. Uh-oh. Now he's checking us out. Sorry, folks. Looks like some of you may not make it. The house is a little bit small. It's because of the 3/4 scale. It was built that way so Norman would look bigger, more menacing when he stood in the doorway. When Hitchcock released Psycho in 1960, he had a difficult time getting it past the censor's office because of that shower scene. They were shocked and demanded that he make changes. But he knew after they'd seen it once, they'd be desensitized by the material, so he sat on the footage for a couple of weeks and then resubmitted without changing anything. This time, they accepted the footage. They even thanked him for making those changes he never actually made. And just beyond the Psycho House, one of the more impressive sets ever created, the spectacular crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning. This is all that's left for the neighborhood they hide out in. That's a real plane, by the way. A real 747, destroyed just for this scene.
The airplane crash sunset is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision of Steven.
You forget to sit down and talk about War of the World. I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing great. Listen, listen, close your eyes, okay? Now closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Now we're about 10 minutes out now. I'm going to have you back in the theme park in no time. We've been very fortunate to work with Oscar winners like Christopher Nolan, brought Universal its 11th Best Picture Oscar, the film Oppenheimer, and Jordan Peele, Best Original Screenplay for his film Get Out. Just up ahead of us is Jupiter's Claim, some of the actual sets used in Jordan Peele's sci-fi thriller Nope. And here's Jordan.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the Winking Well, an and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of no. Well, that's what it sounds like to be absorbed by UFO, folks. And you know, we were going to have you all absorbed by UFO for that effect, but let's face it, you have a lot to do and you never can tell how long an alien abduction is going to take. Coming up on your right is Falls Lake, and the largest freestanding backdrop in Hollywood. I'll talk a little bit about this and use Clint Eastwood's film Sully to do it. Sully is the true story of U.S. Airways pilot Chelsea Sullenberger. In 2009, he landed an A320 on the Hudson River in New York City. Tom Hanks plays him in the movie. Evacuate. So this scene was shot out here. Falls Lake is a series of pools with different levels of depth that we can fill with drain. I know it looks a bit like a parking lot right now, but for Sully, they lowered the body of this A320 onto a gimbal so it could rock back and forth, raise the water level up, add some actors and stunt personnel on the wings of the plane. The cloudy sky in the background is the backdrop. It's just painted on. Now, the New York skyline was put in post. That's computer-generated imagery, or CGI. Gives us the illusion of depth, yeah? But this is probably the most popular spot for outside productions to come in and use. There just aren't that many of these facilities around. Sully was a Warner Brothers film. For those of you who remember the mermaid sequence in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, that was shot on Falls Lake. Parts of the F-14 Escape, in Paramount's Top Gun Maverick, and countless others. So even though studios are technically in competition with one another, well, we're all friends here in Hollywood. I want to take you back now on behalf of our driver Jose, myself, and all of us here at Universal. Hope you've enjoyed your look behind the scenes. To our pass holders, thank you for being with us again today. For those of you who aren't pass holders, you know you can visit the Universal box office, see how you can turn today's ticket into an annual pass and return again and again. Remember, the Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift roller coaster opens this summer. Oh, and download the Universal Studios Hollywood app when you're here, folks. That's a useful tool. You can confirm the park closes tonight at 6 p.m. to see showtimes, check wait times, details on mobile food ordering, all sorts of good stuff. Give you one last spectacular look at the San Fernando Valley over here on your right. Universal Studios, our neighbors Warner Brothers. Beyond that is Disney, thanks to Carl Laemmle and some others. More movies have made in this valley than anywhere else in the world.